that living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. So point 1, abstain. Point 2, live good lives. Point 3, verses 13 and 14, submit to human authority. Verse 13, submit yourselves for the Lord's sake, the title of today's sermon, for the Lord's sake abstain, for the Lord's sake live a good life, for the Lord's sake submit to human authority. To every human authority, whether to the emperor as the supreme authority or to governors who are sent by him. Then verse 16, live as free people, but do not use your freedom as a cover-up for evil. Wayne Grudem, another theologian, in summarizing these specific verses here, summarizes it like this: obey except when commanded to sin. I can't think of an easier way to translate that passage for you. You are to obey government unless they command you to sin. I tend sometimes in my flesh to get a little frustrated with speed limits. I see a speed limit, I see no traffic, I think that's not needed, but I choose to obey. Yesterday I stood at a stop signal and my arrow was red. There was no one around, no one coming, and my flesh said, my waging war said, oh, this is a bad signal here, they should have a blinking yellow. But I stayed stopped. You know where I'm going with this, church. Right now, we're under a mandate to wear a mask. I know it's uncomfortable. I know it's not fun. It's not the norm. But church, scripturally speaking, we are to obey unless commanded to sin. And there's all kinds of opinions out there, all kinds of theories, all kinds of thoughts. But there's nowhere in Scripture it commands us not to wear a mask. You don't have to like wearing a mask. But here's my fear. There would be some within the Christian realm, probably even some churches, that choose to simply disobey. And that is sinful. That is wrong. Again, you don't have to like it. But here Scripture says to submit for the Lord's sake, not for the mayor's sake, not for the city council's sake. If you're happen to go to a state that mandates masks, not for the governor's sake. For the Lord's sake, we obey unless we are commanded to do something that is sinful. So wearing these masks right now is a witness. Joshua said way back in the Old Testament, for me and my house, we will choose to follow the Lord. And so as your pastor, for me and our church family, we're going to choose to obey the Lord.